I welcome you all for the first gala night of 35th Annual AAPI Convention. Tonight, my strength is my family members of QLI, my whole EC members of QLI, the past presidents, the BOTs, and all the leaders of QLI who nurtured me to be the president of National AAPI, with whose blessings today I am standing in front of you. With this, I am thankful to all of you, thankful to my host chapter. I want to let you know that more than 300 members of AAPI QLI are sitting here today to welcome you all and to make this convention successful.
Dr. Shashi Shah is here with me, and the place is Atlantic City, and this is annual convention of AAPI. And many doctors feel Dr. Shashi Shah is synonymous with AAPI. So, what is the secret of your such deep involvement with this organization?
You know, this is like I'm paying my debts back. When I was in India, my goal was not to become a $5 rupee doctor, but to learn something, at least in my specialty. That if I say something, somebody should not contradict it right away. And I may be wrong, but I shouldn't be outright wrong. And when they told me urology was just coming up, and they said, if you want to learn urology, you have to go to the United States. And I came here, and this community, in 1973, when I came here, believe me, there are not too many Indians. And when they found out I'm here, they went out of their way to help me. Even there was a doctor who was married to an Irish nurse. He had one son. They lived in one bedroom apartment, and he kept me in one bedroom apartment for 2 months. So that shows that how much they made me to help me. So the question was how to give this back to the community, and that is what I'm trying in my little way, whatever way I can.
So I take 2 points from here. One, the sense of gratefulness, which we consider is integral part of Indian culture. So that sense of gratefulness has stayed with Dr. Shashi Shah after, I don't know how many decades have you been here?
5 decades, I think.
Man, so almost half century, and yet the India that he brought in him is visible all over. And also talking about the pursuit of knowledge and the way America offers opportunities to uh, go deep. And on from that point of view, do you see API playing some important role?
You know, pursuit of knowledge and API, that's a two very big words. Pursuit of knowledge must be there, because if it is not there, then there's not worth living. Why you are living if there is no pursuit for knowledge? That's like pursuit of happiness. I think pursuit of knowledge is essential. And as far as pursuit of knowledge in the United States, they invest a lot of money in research, and they encourage the people to research, just like you are fortunate enough to watch when you were interviewing Professor Manjul Bhargava, and what he said, I love what I do, and I get rewarded for that. And that is so true in one sense, because if you love what you do, you excel. And you don't work hard. One person was talking to me, Dr. Shah, you worked very hard in your life. And I told him, honestly, I never worked hard in my life. So what do you mean you never hard? I said, I never had to do the things which I did not want to do. Hard work is when you have to do what you don't want to do. Now, coming to API. See, when we came here, there were very few Indians. Today, 1 out of 5 patients in the United States being treated by a physician of Indian origin. When you have that kind of responsibility, I'm saying, that kind of account, you have to be responsible. Then you not only become important to treat pneumonia, you're not important to treat one thing, but you have to take care of the whole society. There's a responsibility. In democracy, is bigger responsibility than in autocracy. So I think API is playing a role. It is reached a critical mass where we are influencing, we are getting into decision making, and healthcare decisions, as you all know, Obamacare, Trump care, or whatever you call it, decisions are made in healthcare in the federal government and then state governments. And API is getting involved in different levels to influence the decisions which affect the welfare of the whole society. Today's world, you just can't pneumonia and get him out of there. And he goes back home, he's not being treated properly at home, gets sick and come back. Now the focus is changing. Treatment of acute disease only a part of the whole treatment of the patient. And that is being realized, and API is also participating in that. And now social, today in the discussion in CEO forum, there were discussion that you have to allot more money for the social welfare and preventive medicine, which were not afforded before. Like, for example, congestive heart failure. Somebody you treated, he goes home and gets congestive heart failure again, comes back. Diabetes. I'm just giving common examples which common people can understand. So many things like that. So the whole society has to be taken care of. And API can play an integral part, and it is going to play an integral part in coming years.
So 2 quick points. One, you said if you love what you do, that is reward. So I love what I do, and my reward is sitting with people like you. So keeping keeping that reward and moving towards slightly journalist-like question, when we have an organization which is as strong, important like API, and you talked about influencing policy decisions, I think if we had some important politicians also coming and addressing or mingling with doctors, and probably they would be in a position to understand the point of view of all the doctors that they have. And with so much happening with repeal and replace of Obamacare, and then there is a new bill in the offing. On that front, do you see API should play more important role?
API is playing its role. Important, of course, everything is important. See, politicians, they have to deal with so many issues. We deal with only medical issues. They have to deal with so many issues. They are not knowledgeable about every aspect, all the issues confronting them. So unless they are educated by the people who know about those issues, they can't make the right decisions. And that's where the responsibility of the citizens, responsibility of the community comes in democracy, to educate these politicians. And that is where API is playing a role. We have a legislative day about in the month of May, and there are about 35 congressmen, senators. They came and we discussed with them, explained to them how to spend, and put up our view, how we think it can be affected. And now, just talking of that, 5 of our Indians of Indian origin, they are members of the Congress. We didn't have any. So that's another way of influencing by getting more people of Indian origin getting elected and a representative. Hopefully we should have our 15 sooner or later. But on that note, I will appeal to the people who are watching your show. Please, those of who are citizens, get registered, go and vote. People died in this country to gain the right to vote. Now you have that right, you earned it, use it.
So you live and use that right, don't die. And when I say don't die, I don't want AAPI's movement to die. And on that front, how do you see the next generation Indian American doctors also finding themselves interested in the role that AAPI is playing? And do you see new faces here or mostly?
No, you'll be surprised. I'm glad you asked me that question. Let me give an idea of what the next generation is doing. Next generations, when we came, if we got an internship or residency in a big hospital, university hospital, it was a big deal. Never mind becoming professor there, never mind being chairmen there. Next generation are becoming chairmen of those departments. Next generation are being CEOs of the networks. Next generation is well ahead of what I would have imagined ourselves. So next generation, if you look, we are honoring one person that comes to my mind next Saturday. I think he's not even 40 years old. He's CEO of one of the large, I don't know if I can mention the name because the advertisement, all that, I don't want to get into that, but one of the large Medicare program. He is only 4 years out of medical school, and I was surprised. I said, I want to see your residency completion certificate. That how did you reach that? So this is the level we are reaching today. Another one, he's the global head of one of the global head of research of the big pharmaceutical company all over the world. So we are very, very fortunate. We are very happy and proud how the next generation is coming up. We were afraid. They are not. They were born here. They know how the system works. I'm very proud of them.
So fearless next generation is taking over AAPI, and Dr. Shashi Shah is also not afraid of that. In fact, he's encouraging that. Thank you very much for talking to us, sir.
Thank you so much, Ashok.
Dr. Abhay Malhotra, when you come to conventions like AAPI and you have presentations by some big cardiologist and you are a cardiologist yourself, do you see there is some new flow of call it knowledge or information also a part of this whole convention?
Oh, absolutely. Ashokji, when you have cardiologists giving talks about new techniques and new interventions for blockage in the heart arteries, you learn new stuff. There is constant change, as you know. Medicine is dynamic, and it's good to know, to brush up your knowledge, what's going on in the future, what is our future.
So you feel AAPI is playing a significant and meaningful role in this direction?
Absolutely. We have been doing continuous CME lectures for all the physicians. Also, apart from that, we have also been doing health fairs where we tend to diagnose people with new illnesses and then we'll guide them what to do.
नमस्कार, मैं अशोक व्यास और मेरे साथ हैं प्रोफेसर मंजुल भार्गव। मंजुल, इस उम्र में इतने प्रख्यात विश्व के प्रसिद्ध मैथमेटिशियन होने के साथ साथ शास्त्रीय संगीत से प्रेम रखने वाले हैं और आपने प्रोड्यूस भी की एक फिल्म जो अगेन मैथमेटिक्स के बारे में सबको और अधिक जागरूक करने वाली। तो पहले आपके उस फिल्म के रिस्पॉन्स के अनुभव के बारे में बात करते हैं।
नहीं, वैसे तो फिल्म लोगों को बहुत अच्छी लगी। जो इंडिपेंडेंट फिल्म्स हैं उसमें से सबसे ज़्यादा कहते हैं हाईएस्ट ग्रोसिंग वही थी। अभी पूरी मेन स्ट्रीम नहीं गई, तो इंडिपेंडेंट फिल्म्स में तो बहुत हाईएस्ट ग्रोसिंग थी।
ये सवाल मैंने आपसे पहले भी कभी किया, लेकिन मैथ्स और म्यूज़िक के बीच में आप एक विशेष संबंध देखते हैं जो सामान्यतः हमको लगता है मैथ्स तो गणितीय है और जो संगीत है वो अंतः प्रेरणा के साथ संबंध रखता है।
नहीं, दोनों में वैसे ही प्रेरणा है, दोनों में ही वो पैटर्न्स के बारे में है, सुंदरता, दोनों ही ऐसे कला हैं। हमें स्कूल में ऐसे सिखाते नहीं हैं, लेकिन है वैसे ही।
ऐसा कहते हैं कि हम अपने जीवन में जोड़ गणित अधिक करते हैं तो भावनाओं का जो सौंदर्य है उससे हम दूर रह जाते हैं. तो आपके अंदर लेकिन एक सरलता, एक मुझे अगर ये मैं शब्द लूँ कि भोलापन, वो एक प्रोफेसर के उत्तरदायित्व के बावजूद ऐसा एक बाल सुलभ सा जो एक निश्चलता है वो बची रही है, उसके पीछे आप किसको श्रेय देते हैं?
नहीं, मैं तो अपना जो काम करता हूँ मज़े के लिए करता हूँ, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. औरों को भी अच्छा लगे वो मैं चाहता हूँ, तो मैं बस इसीलिए करता हूँ, कोई ऐसी.
So he loves what he's doing, and I talk in English now because here is a Princeton professor, Professor Emeritus.
का मतलब है कि रिटायर्ड.
कुछ और था ना प्रोफेसर के साथ में आप?
नहीं, chaired professor, tenured professor.
Tenure. So tenure professor at Princeton University, Professor Manjul Bhargava is me. And now, Manjul, do you see new kids also finding take their interest in mathematics the way you are passionate about it?
Yeah, well, in Princeton, we're very lucky that we get extremely talented students coming through every year. So every year we find some that teach us rather than we teaching them. It's an inspiration for us also to encounter such amazing students that come through every year. So yeah, no, the field is doing very well, and the next generation is always coming up. Yeah.
You have solved some problems which were existing for many years. So was it conscious on your part, or it just happened?
Well, I always like working on hard problems. So a few times I got lucky.
And is there any mathematical pattern for getting lucky?
Well, it's hard work, it's passion, it's really enjoying what you do. And it's about finding the right matches, finding the right match of you and what you work on. Finding that click, they say. And that's what it's about. But it's really liking what you do. Yeah, that it doesn't feel like work to me.
And quickly, what is the most exciting part of your work these days, which is engaging you, whether you are working on your own or working with your students?
Well, I'm always working on many things. I enjoy working on math problems. I think about solutions to cubic equations. We all know how to solve quadratic equations. We learned that in school. And in college, you learn how to solve quadratic equations in any number of variables. But once you go to cubic equations, even in 2 variables, we don't know how to solve. So that's something that motivates me. It's the next frontier in mathematics. But I also work on many education issues. I know lots of underprivileged children in India don't have access to basic education. They're so bright, they're so talented, and yet they don't have the opportunities. So that's another tough problem that I like to try and work on. We have a long way to go to solve it, but we try to make dents in that area as well.
And Manjul, you are not a politician, but you were actively working with the Indian politicians in the sense that Modi government invited you and you were part of the advisory team of Human Resource Ministry in India. How was that experience for you, and that role which you accepted continues or it has changed?
So I started out helping with a program called GAN, which is a program to bring professors and academics and scholars of all kinds from other countries into India, and sending scholars from India outside to have some cross-fertilization of ideas. And so that program has started off very successfully. I tried to help start that, and that's gone very successfully. And now I've moved on, and I'm trying to work with the HRD ministry to revise the curriculum, modernize it a little bit. So that I'll start in the coming months, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know what the plans are of the HRD ministry, but I said I'd be happy to help if I can.
Last question. I come from the media, which relates to audio-visual side primarily. Do you see any correlationship between your vision as a mathematician and this creative side of expression which involves audio-visual medium?
Oh, it's an audio-visual medium. Well, whenever we speak about our work, we have to tie it in with audio-visual medium, of course. So when I teach, I try to connect mathematics to magic, which is of course very visual. I try to connect it with music, which is very involves listening and involves hearing patterns. So mathematics can be made much more interesting if audiovisual effects are combined with it, and I try my best in my classes to do that. Yeah.
And last relevant question: social media and education.
I'm not on social media personally, but I know lots of other teachers and lots of other students use it as a method of cross-fertilization of ideas, as I'd mentioned before. So actually social media for some people is an excellent way to learn and exchange ideas. But sometimes it's a little too short. You can't get into the depth of it if you rely on social media too much. So there has to be that balance.
So balance one can see in the presence of Manjul Bhargava. So many achievements, so many recognitions, and so humble and unassuming, down to earth. And last question, and I'll remember your mother also comes from a similar field, mathematics. So where do you see her impressions on the growth that you have realized?
Oh, well, she's been amazing. She never pushed me into mathematics, but she was always there when I had math questions. And just seeing her success and her passion for her subject, I think put that passion in me, even though she never suggested it once or pushed me into it. But that's the thing, passion is contagious. Enthusiasm is contagious. And I definitely probably caught many of those things from her, both in music and in mathematics.
And we wish we get that contagious enthusiasm from Manjul with lots of good wishes, sir. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you.
सैया